Drinking buddies, I am really excited for this one. We have a very special episode. We're going to review the new 2024 Maker's Mark Cellar Age, but we got to do it blind, so we're going to compare it to last year's. Let's freaking go.
I'm your drinking buddy.
All right, drinking buddies. So this year's Maker's Mark Cellar Aged is a little bit more expensive. It's almost $200 MSRP. The mash bill of the Maker's profile is 70 corn, 16% soft red winter wheat, 14% malted barley. Gives a detailed description of where it was aged, where the barrels came from. And basically they moved this to the cellar in October of 2017/May of 2018. And they have a limestone cellar. And yeah, why age something in a cellar? Well, there's a little bit of an argument to be made that when you age distilled spirits, whiskey specifically, in a volatile climate, you're going to get a lot more oak extraction. And that's not what they were looking for necessarily. They want to get complexity, but not necessarily over oak the whiskey. Now, I tend to be a beaver. I like whiskeys that some people might call over oaked. I love oak, but I did love this whiskey last year. It was one of my favorite whiskeys of the year. And yeah, we got to figure out if this one is worth it, considering the price went up about $50. It is a little bit older, so this one is 15% 12 years and 85% 13 years, whereas last year's was 13% 11 years and 87% 12 years. Last year's was 115.7 proof, and this year is 119.3. I don't know what's in front of me. Let's go. Very, very nice nose. Very honey forward. Whoa, these are completely different. This is like honey, a little grapey. And this is like cherry and brown sugar and cinnamon. Very different noses. This one's dusty, a little dirty maybe even. It's a dirty girl. All right. That's just great whiskey. I don't want to say too much because I haven't tasted the other one yet, but we have like a waxy cherry thing. We have a little bit of dusty thing, a little bit of damp basement, cinnamon. Oak's coming through. Oak is here. Oak's in the party. We're not getting into like medicinal cherry oak or like the extra tannic oak. There's not a lot of tannins here, but it is a little oaky. Yeah, man, the nose on 2 is better, and the palate on 1 was awesome. So, wow, pretty similar palate. Yeah, that waxy thing is here too, like waxy cherry. Like red vines. Not to the extent that I get it off of some of the Sazerac products, though. It's a little bit of a tobacco thing here, sweet tea. This one's a little bit more tannic than this one. Neither drinks hot. They both drink around like 100, 110. I'm having a hard time picking a favorite, so I think I'm gonna sit down with a notepad and to just try to figure this out. It should be taking me about 20 minutes, so I'm gonna cut this, but when we come back, I'll tell you what my favorite is. That actually wasn't as long as I normally do because one jumped out at me. When I went back through them, I got some cool like pancakes and maple syrup thing on this one. And I got some cool like bitter dark chocolate on here. I think what happens when you age makers longer, because like most makers products are six to 8, I believe it's 6 to 8 years old. They never go over that. And I feel like when you get makers at a higher age, you get a balance of this, like the sweetness is rounded out. There's not as much like sweetness on it, and you get a little bit more oak, and it's not as much oak as you'd get off of a normal 12, 13-year-old whiskey. And I think that's because it is cellar age, but I just feel like you get a nice complex weeded bourbon. And to my palate, I'm starting to, like, there's exceptions. Like this Nana's Kitchen pick that we did was amazing. I loved the RTO2. I get that there's exceptions to the rule. The Origin series from Bardstown, Weller 107. I get that there's exceptions to the rule, but for my palate, I'm starting to realize that wheaters need some oak extraction. They need some age on them, I feel, for me to really, really love them. Like I said, there's exception. A lot of the Texas stuff is wheaters, but they are, they're getting heavy oak extraction from that desert climate, from that heat. Anyway, I'm stalling at this point. This one's my favorite, and it's not particularly close, which is a little sad since the new bottle is $50 more. So if this is the new one, it kind of sucks that it's $50 more. And if it isn't the new one, it really sucks that it's $50 more. But I think $200 is fair for either of these whiskeys for the experience you're getting out of them. But this one is my favorite. So let's figure out which one I liked slightly less. I did like the 2024 slightly less. Darn, I got more of this bottle than I do of this one. I will say this. Last year was an absolute killer year for Jim Beam. So it's okay that this one isn't quite as good as last year. The Little Book Infinite was a little bit of a disappointment for me. The Bookers this year haven't been quite as good as Bookers from last year. You can't knock it out of the park every year, and Beam, you knocked it out of the freaking park last year. I know this is not a Beam family distillery, but it's owned by the same company, and they're Beam to me. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Anyway, drinking buddies, are you looking for this? Is this one you're going to hunt for? Have you had it yet? Drop comments down below. Tell me what you think of all this. What do you think of last year's? Do you like wheaters? Do you hate wheaters? Do you think that only Buffalo Trace can make wheaters? Do you think that we should shut up about wheaters? I tend to like wheaters, but like I said, I generally want some more age on them. And even like a 10-year-old Heaven Hill wheater is just not good enough. I need, if for Heaven Hill, give me 14 years on that barrel for me to really enjoy that. But that's just me. Anyway, drinking buddies, thank you so much for watching. Every time you guys like the videos, every time you guys subscribe to the channel, you make this thing possible. I couldn't do it without you. A special shout out to Nana's Kitchen, because I got this bottle there. It is a great Mexican food restaurant here in Tucson, Arizona. Yes, I know, Mexican food restaurant, but they sell bottles. They have a bottle shop. They do great pours. It's a whiskey bar. It's a tequila bar. It's a wine bar. It's whatever you want in drinking. And it has amazing food. It is my favorite Mexican food in the state. I've not had better Mexican food in Arizona. I literally think the only time I've had better Mexican food, I was in actual Mexico. Yeah, it's my favorite Mexican food in Tucson. Anyway, drinking buddies, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you.
I'm your drinking buddy.